Hello, and in today's video we're going to take a look at Conquest by Para Bellum. Now this is available in two versions, the Last Argument of Kings, which is a mass battle game, and then a slightly more skirmish game called First Blood. Now this is a real throwback to classic sort of rank and unit based wargaming, so if you've missed things like Warhammer Fantasy Battle, this is going to be right up your alley. And the only real competitor to it on the market right now is Kings of War by Mantic Games. Now there are other games out there by Osprey, and of course there's older games which are no longer supported. But Para Bellum's come up with this really cool fantasy world that is not just a cookie cutter of your standard fantasy setting, and it's got some great miniatures, and I particularly got interested in it when I saw Wadron, which is this sort of Orcish, Aztec, Mayan, tribal, dinosaur riding faction. Now, to get into the game is relatively cheap by wargaming standards. Now, the easiest way to get into it, first of all, is to download the rules, which are free. So you've got the Last Argument of King rules, the army lists, and then the same for First Blood. So if you want smaller sort of 12 to 20 figure sort of battles, First Blood's what you're after. Last Argument of Kings, you tend to have, for infantry, 4 figures to a base, 3 bases to a unit. So you're looking at 12 figures for a basic unit. You're going to have a commander who attaches to that unit, and I think you can have 4 units under one commander, so 48 figures for a small detachment, and it scales up to bigger battles quite easily, and I think the standard is 2,000 points for a battle game. Once you've decided on your forces, it also includes a free army builder, so I'm not going to show you too much about that in here, but let's say we want to build something for the Last Argument of Kings. I prepare for war. Let's give it a name. Let's set a point value, so let's change this to 1,500, and then let's say I want to build 100 Kingdoms force, and then in here you build up your force and then you can export it as a PDF. Really, really good. I'll probably do a video about this on another day. Now, if you're getting into the game, you're probably going to start with the starter set, because that's a really good value. So that set includes the 100 Kingdoms, which is effectively the human faction of sort of medieval knights, so men-at-arms, bowmen, horse in full armour, and they're opposed by the Spires, who are actually sort of the elf of the setting, although that's not a very good analogy. They're actually aliens from another world who fled from something that was absolutely terrorising and ended up getting stranded in the world of air, and they use something called biomancy, which is where they grab hold of existing biological things and resources and meld them together to create, like, effectively constructs. Although the force-grown clones, which are the sort of basic unit of the Spires, are very pathetic, but easy to churn out, and they are living things. They're not just pure robots. Now, if you really want to get involved in the community, there is a Colours of Conquest monthly painting contest, and I'm thinking of entering that at some stage myself. And there's also organised play, so they're currently in Season 1, and there are some organised play kits, including previews of the next 3 factions, because I think there's currently 5 factions with 10 planned. Now, if you actually want to order stuff, I really recommend you grab hold of the core set, which comes with the 100 Kingdoms and the Spires. And at the moment, you've got a really good deal where you'll get some expansion box. So you've got the Steel Legions, which are sort of the dismounted knights with two-handed swords. The Marksman clones, which are the Spires' sort of samurai bowmen. The Militia Bowmen, which is just your grunts for the humans. Household Knights, your big powerful stampeding horsemen. And then the Vanguard clones, who are the slightly harder hitting foot soldiers of the Spires. Now in the core set itself, you're going to get all of this here. So you've got your knights on horses, your nobles, your crossbowmen, your men-at-arms, your force-grown clones, a ferromancer, who is a guy who I guess controls things via sort of bee alien-like chemicals, this monstrous abomination figure, which apparently is a little bit tricky to assemble, but once it's all together looks great, and then the guys that I really like from the Spires, these brutes, and as you can see, you've got your monstrous base, your medium-sized base, and your general foot sluggers plus a hero, effectively. You also get these objective markers. Looks like you're going to get some dice, some command cards, and you get a rule book that covers the various rules of the game, and it also includes, I believe, the army list. Now, I have heard the men-at-arms are some of the earliest sculpts and are probably the weakest sculpts in potentially the whole product line, but they look pretty good when painted up. So if I scroll along here, I think, yeah, here you go. So these are the weakest figures in the set. And they look pretty good. You know, they're designed for mass battle ranking up, and pretty impressed. So I'm going to obviously be doing a video once my order arrives of the box set, and I'm probably going to stick fairly close to the studio paint jobs. I think they've done a pretty good job. I'm probably going to go a bit crazier on the nobles, coming up with my own sort of designs for them. And I'm really looking to doing some more footage on this game because it looks really interesting, and I like the fact that it's mostly plastics. Now, I do know some of the heroes are actually in sort of a really high quality resin. So let's see if we can quickly load up one of those for you. And yeah, they're apparently some of the best resin out there. And as you can see, there's loads of really cool minis for the Spires. I really do like them, and they're quite a twisted faction. Here you go. So the High Clone Executor, he is a fantastic figure. I mean, just look at him. He looks really good, and that's a lovely paint job that they've had done on that. Unfortunately, being resin, it is a little bit pricey. You're paying €24 for a single figure, whereas obviously for a unit box, which is 12 minis, I think, possibly more, you're going to pay a little bit less. So yeah, force clones, 39, and you're going to get 12 of them. But they also do have an offer where you can mix 4 of any of the following 7 boxes, and you'll get a discount. So that's pretty good. But yeah, the best deal right now is obviously the core set with the 2 free extra boxes, and I would recommend the Vanguard clones and the Steel Legion probably. I've gone with Militia and Marksman, but I am also going to be getting some Vanguards, and at some stage I'll pick up some Steel Legions. But you know, I really want to get into the Wardren, which is the latest faction that's just come out, in particular for their Raptor Riders, who just look absolutely amazing. So yeah, if we look at these bad girls here, probably not the best shots there. Let's go to one of the individual minis. As you can see, you've got a raptor with some feathers. You've then got your rider, and these are big figures, which is potentially a downside to these rules. They're 38mm rather than 32mm, so they're sort of 1/48 or O scale. So yeah, interesting, and look for more coverage coming soon. So until the next video, happy gaming.